Attention, calling all diehard PvP hunter players. Take a quick minute from trying to decide which all-black shader you're gonna drape yourself in when you head into Crucible today, and come on over and take a knee. Look, I know, Stompees are great, but I'd really like a lot of you to start using this very weak, underperforming exotic. Of course, I'm absolutely not telling you to rock this exotic to intentionally get the PvP usage numbers through the roof just so Bungie can finally take it and launch it directly into the sun where it belongs. That would be crazy. No, of course not. Of course not. I just want people to maybe try it out because it's bad, and trying hidden gems can be fun. There's no hidden agenda here. Don't be silly. So, today we will cover how literally every hunter in PvP should start rocking Young Ahamkara's spine. Again, not to intentionally get them nerfed, just because they look fun. Yeah, that'll do. And by the way, today's build will also be up over on Mobalytics. They are the sponsor of today's video. Mobalytics is a fun site I just learned about that actually has a collection of D2 builds that you can go and check out. It's organized and gives you everything you need to understand the build all in one place. Link down in the description, and thank you, Mobalytics. All right, let me tell you about Young Ahamkara, because even though you might think you know everything there is to know about this exotic, you probably don't. The text reads, increased tripmine grenade duration and blast radius. That part is pretty straightforward, but how about some numbers? The duration of a regular tripmine grenade is about 10-ish seconds, give or take. With Young Ahamkara though, your tripmine duration goes up to 30-ish seconds before detonating. That alone is very fair and normal. I'm gonna be dead honest, there are times in PvP where I throw a tripmine and completely forget about it. Then, after what feels like an eternity goes by, bam, free kill out of left field. And the blast radius, yeah, also noticeably better than default tripmine, as anyone who has played against Ahamkara in trials can immediately tell you. The Ahamkara Tripmine is also harder to shoot and break, by the way. Whereas a regular tripmine will blow up after being touched by one of any bullet, Ahamkara takes significant dedication to break, which can be fine if you're up close and don't have an enemy breathing down your neck, but if you're trying to break an Ahamkara Tripmine that's kind of far-ish away, I mean, goddamn, half the time you might as well not even bother, depending on what weapon you got. Also, you got this part in the description right here. Ability damage grants tripmine grenade energy. Probably the most fair and balanced part about this very weak, underused exotic. Look here, when I damage an enemy with a normal tripmine, yeah, they get hurt, but I reap no extra benefit. But when an enemy activates a tripmine while I'm rocking Young Ahamkara, boy howdy, do I get a good amount of energy back right away. Hey, fun fact, did you know that you can also pair this together with the grenade kickstart mod? Put it all together, now you throw a grenade, get a small chunk of energy back right away for free, and then when the enemy stumbles into your tripmine, you get a very reasonable, normal amount of energy back. Also, if you configure your seasonal artifact to take authorized mods grenades, your grenade kickstart mod will only cost you 1 energy. Now that's what I call value. Oh, and tripmine energy isn't refunded only through getting tripmine damage, by the way. If an enemy takes damage from your melee ability, you will also get grenade energy right back. That's partially why I recommend you run proximity explosive knife. That way you can leave more things laying around in key locations for your enemy to trip into, and if they do, hey, more grenade energy for you. On the topic of the proximity knife, here's a very straightforward thing you can do in PvP that the enemy player will probably really respect you for. Most people out here call it the wombo combo. Jump above an unsuspecting player, then throw your knife, and immediately after throwing your knife, throw your grenade in that order. You don't really need to be that accurate, by the way, and they will go bye-bye. Again, remember to do knife, then grenade. If you do it in the reverse order, you can't throw them as fast, and it really lacks the immediate shutdown power. And by the way, don't be overly worried about using the wombo combo at point blank range. One of the very understandable, totally not broken benefits of Young Ahamkara is that your tripmine explosions will no longer harm you at all. You're pretty much immune. Throw that ish at a guy 3 feet in front of you for all I care. Now, I don't consider either of these options crucial to the build, but if you want to really guarantee the complete admiration of the other team, you could rock a weapon with either Demolitionist or Adrenaline Junkie. Demo if you want to get your grenade energy back even quicker, and Adrenaline Junkie junkie if you want to really knock people around after you get a Tripmine kill. Quick reminder that the Peace of Mind pulse rifle is craftable, still pretty good, and can roll Adrenaline Junkie. Alright, a few of the finer points of the build. Young Ahamkara has the perk Fastball secretly built right into it, even though it isn't mentioned anywhere on the description of the armor. And if you don't believe me, check it out. That is how high and far you throw a Tripmine normally, see how it hits the floor. And without moving, that is how far you throw with Ahamkara. So there, got the perk built in already, no need to put it on your armor. Again, that just means more room for grenade kickstart though. On your class armor, you're gonna want bomber mods. Just activate your hunter dodge for a quick bump in grenade energy on demand. Remember, you can use multiple bomber and multiple grenade kickstart mods together, but you will get diminishing returns. I like to do 2 of each, but then for my exotic armor, I will throw on either bolstering detonation for more dodge energy or a dexterity mod if I'm running a shotgun. On my class armor, outside of double bomber, I like to keep the final slot open for Reaper, which I really don't think should work in PvP, but here we are. Use your hunter dodge and your next kill will make an orb of power. That'll be huge in helping you get even more grenade energy. And because we're making orbs on your leg armor, feel free to take your pick between absolution, insulation, or innervation. Not hugely important to the build, but why not? On my solar tree, proximity hunter knife, because again, wombo combo. And outside of that, sometimes it can be fun to have a mini Tripmine to throw around too. A lot of people really like gunpowder gamble, and that's fine for them. I kind of don't like how sometimes I forget about it and I want to throw out a Tripmine, but then I got the gunpowder bomb ready to go instead. It kind of f's up my whole vibe. I prefer knock 'em down because you get 2 fragment slots instead of 1, and especially on your mark, one of my favorite PvP aspects in the game. Fragment wise, you've got 2 that I'm going to hard recommend, and the other 3 you can kind of pick and choose whatever looks good to you or fits your playstyle overall. The 2 I'm hard recommending, Ember of Singeing and Ember of Searing. Searing will both give you more recovery, but also make a fire sprite when you kill a scorched enemy. Any poor jabroni tagged by your Tripmine will be scorched automatically, and fire sprites are great for this build because picking them up gives you additional grenade energy. Singeing gives you a better dodge cooldown when you're scorching a guy, which again will happen fairly often with this build. Again, reminder, dodging is important to the build to take advantage of both Bomber and Reaper together, so Ember of Singeing will come in big on the build. Now, I heard a rumor that for Ahamkara players that Ember of Ashes is quote god tier mandatory because it reportedly double triggers how much grenade energy you get refunded when using the exotic armor or something to that degree. I went into a private match and did pretty strict testing, and you know what I found? Not true. Check it out, little side-by-side clip action here. One is with ashes and the other is with no fragments at all. I line each clip up at the exact same moment I throw the grenade, they both get triggered by an enemy, and both grenades get fully replenished at the exact same frame, regardless of having Ember of Ashes on or not. Therefore, the only thing Ember of Ashes is really going to do on this build is give you 1 extra tick of scorch damage and slightly bigger scorch damage, 30 damage with compared to 21 damage without. It's not completely a throwaway fragment though. The 1 extra tick of burning does pair a tad better with both searing and singeing, but yeah, definitely don't feel like you need to be tied to Ember of Ashes at all, and anyone who tells you that you do, send them my way. Other fragment picks are kinda up to you. If you play a lot of trials, might I recommend Solace and Mercy together. Mercy is new. When you revive an ally, you and nearby allies gain restoration, and Solace makes your restoration last a little bit longer. Put them together, and basically if you revive an ally in trials, you're probably gonna annoy the other team, like a lot. Ember of Char is also there, but only if you need the extra 10 discipline to get to tier 100, which is mandatory for the build. And remember, ignitions are a completely different thing than your Tripmine exploding. This build is not going to be really ignite heavy. If you're playing trials, I might recommend Ember of Beams as well. Completely whiffing a blade barrage is a god-awful feeling when playing endgame PvP, and beams will really help those knives lock onto a target. Ember of Tempering is actually a fun option I can recommend if you primarily rock a solar weapon. I've been pairing it together with the still very broken Drang on the rare times where I feel like playing controller. Crazy fun, and of course more fire sprite generation, which is good. And of course Resolve is a great and very straightforward choice. You're probably going to get a pretty good amount of Tripmine kills with this build, and any option to get an immediate chunk of health back right away is going to be great in PvP. If you're indecisive, just tell us what to use, Fallout. Alright, fine. Gun to my head, Searing, Singeing, Resolve, Mercy, and Solace. Again, Mercy and Solace only if you're running comp or trials, which is where I use this build the most. For your super, going to depend on what activity you're playing. If you're playing Iron Banner or Control or any 6v6 PvP, I would recommend Deadshot Golden Guns. You can tear through the entire entire team. For trials or comp though, gonna hard recommend Blade Barrage. Not only is it a super you can panic pop at the drop of a hat, but it also has a way shorter cooldown, and trials can often go so quick that players sometimes don't even get their supers out on the field. If you do rock Blade Barrage and you're finding you're having trouble getting those knives to hit, again, ditch one of the previously mentioned fragments and tag in Ember of Beams. For your artifact, make sure you have both authorized mods grenades for cheaper armor mod usage and Solar Surge. I mean, you're already going to be getting fire sprites, so get that free armor charge to go along with it. Man, one day I really hope that Bungie gives a buff to this very weak, underused, underpowered exotic, because as we've shown, I don't think it really brings enough to the table. And again, that is why I want everyone watching today's video to use this exact build and go into PvP with it now. Like right now, right now. Maybe if the usage numbers go way up to an absurd, ridiculous level, Bungie will nerf the out of this stupid thing. Bungie will see the light and realize, hey, a lot of our player base really likes this exotic. Why don't we give it more ornaments? Yeah, more ornaments. That's what I'm hoping to achieve here. Anyway, if you've got a build that you think I would really like, let me know down in the comment section. Now go use Young Ahamkara in PvP a lot. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.